The following is a production of Golden Boy Media and Entertainment.
Downtown Los Angeles, the first Friday of the month. Ryan Garcia makes the trip down from Victorville to get on the show. He's only 18 years old. Jonathan Thunder Navarro from a fighting family in East LA. He's the co-feature tonight. And in his first time as a main event fighter, San Antonio's Joshua Franco puts his perfect record on the line. Oh, traffic is moving. That's easy on a Friday night. Joshua Franco, he's from San Antonio. He's not used to that traffic, but he better get used to being a main event fighter the way he is going. He takes on veteran Victor Pasillas. That's the main event tonight in the super flyweight division. Co-feature Jonathan Thunder Navarro. That's actually Franco's stablemate with Robert Garcia out in Riverside. Takes on Angel Rodriguez. And opening up the card, Mr. Victorville, Ryan Garcia, 7-0. He takes on Devin Jones out of Louisiana. The first Friday of the month, that means it's the LA Fight Club at the Belasco Theater in downtown Los Angeles, blocks away from the headquarters of Golden Boy Promotions. A fantastic venue. If you're in Southern California, go and check it out. It's normally a nightclub, it's historic, but they put the ring in the middle and the people get going alongside a long-time boxing scribe from UCN Live and BoxingScene.com, Steve Kim. I'm Bethel Durant. Thank you for joining us tonight. Ryan Garcia opens up the show for us from the Belasco Theater. And, Steve, you saw Ryan in Inglewood when he made his first ever fight for Golden Boy.
Yes, beginning his Golden Boy debut was December 17th. At the Great Western Still Fabulous Forum, it was Ryan Garcia opening up in style, stopping Jose Antonio Martinez in two. This much is known early on about this 18-year-old Garcia. He's fast, he's flashy. The question is, can he be fundamental? He is a precocious sort. Began his career in Mexico. His first four bouts were south of the border as he worked things out and he got old enough to actually be licensed in California. I know Golden Boy has a lot of high hopes for him.
They sure do. Mr. Victorville, Ryan Garcia. Victorville, about, you've seen it. It's on the way to Vegas. When you're going there, you're excited. On the way back, you're like, oh, man, that's the home of Ryan Garcia. That co-feature, Jonathan Navarro. Great nickname with Thunder.
Thunder is an ode to the great Arturo Gatti, who was a fan-friendly television left hooker from the East Coast, and that's exactly what Navarro is. Just 20 years old with a record of 7-0. This is a guy, he's hell-bent for leather. He's not going to outbox a lot of people. His job is to get people out of there with that laser left hook.
Navarro trained by Robert Garcia, as is our main event, Joshua Franco. He comes from a fighting family. He's from San Antonio, the first one of those trio that Robert Garcia has that gets to be the main event fighter.
Yes, he's now an 8-round fighter. He had 5 fights in 2016, winning them all. We see some of the highlights here from a recent fight. But we're really opened eyes with September at Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium, on the Canelo undercard, scoring an eye-opening stoppage of Brian Bazan in what was an exciting back-and-forth affair. He's 8-0 with 4 stoppages.
As always, we're very active on social media. Send us your tweets. I'm Durant Sports. Steve, you are?
Steve, UCN Live, and I'm known to tweet once in a while.
Every now and then. Ryan Garcia, he's very popular on social media. You can Google him. He'll get you all you need. He's actually giving away gloves. I mean, this kid in his second ever fight from Golden Boy, I guess Will Wright's paying him right because he's giving away some gloves. He takes on Devin Jones. They're going to be making their way towards the ring. Our ring announcer tonight is the one and only Joe Martinez. Also, go and check out the Golden Boy social media team. They're doing a great job at the Belasco Theater, all behind the scenes action. Check out their Snapchat, their Instagram, their Facebook. And when these fights are over, make sure you go to the Golden Boy YouTube page for more behind-the-scenes coverage throughout the week, and you can watch these fights over and over and over, which I'm learning now as talking to some of these fighters. I'm like, hey, do you ever study any video on your opponent? They're like, yeah. Actually, we heard you guys because they go to the Golden Boy library, and they specifically hear Steve Kim They said the guy who was critical. I'm like, that's Steve Kim.
That's my job. It's what I do. It's nothing personal here.
No, it's not. It's not at all. We break it down. We have a good time with it. It'll be Ryan Garcia, Devin Jones, then Jonathan Navarro, Angel Rodriguez, Joshua Franco, Victor Pasillas. Now, explain to the fans who are watching this, the Belasco Theater is a club show, but this is where the kids graduate, where they want to go to the next level.
Right. I would really call this a developmental or farm system. A lot of the times when you see kids at the Forum or the Staples Center or specifically the Home Depot Center on the major televised programs, they don't just suddenly get to 30-0, 25-0. They have to start somewhere, and this is now a rite of passage for every young fighter for the most part. Different promotional outlets have their own type of shows that are their farm system, and for Golden Boy for the past 2 years, this has been the main hub, and we saw a graduate last year. A young man by the name of Joseph Diaz, who was a staple of the Belasco Theater, is now what I believe a legitimate 126-pound contender and has been on platforms like HBO and major pay-per-view shows. And that's the goal of every young fighter like a Ryan Garcia, projecting ahead to, let's say, 2019, 2020, to be on those stages.
Well, if you read Ryan Garcia's article on UCN Live, he's not waiting to 2019. He was speaking with Mike Baca, one of your fine young writers at Long Beach. Go and check out that article featuring Ryan Garcia after a good workout at the media workout this weekend at the Azteca gym. Ryan said, you know, I sparred Lomachenko, I sparred Linares, I'm ready, let's get going. This kid doesn't lack confidence.
No, and you know, Fernando Vargas was ferocious. This young man is precocious, and you get the sense that if he was on the freeway, he would be all the way on the left-hand side on the fast lane. He wants to go places. I don't think he necessarily wants to be babysat or over-marinated. But again, this is a process. This is a 6-round fight. Still just 7 fights into what hopefully is a long, distinguished run.
Yeah, you mentioned in his first fight, 4 fights, actually first 5 fights, were not with Golden Boy. The first 4 were in Tijuana, 1 at another banquet hall. But this is different, though, because now you have a big crowd in front of you. It's here. And some of these younger fighters, when they have this record, Steve, they get to say, oh, yeah, I fought in Vegas in front of Beto and Steve and nobody else.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I talk to young managers all the time, and they say, Steve, we're so excited. We get to be on this big card. And then I say, really, have you seen the bout sheet? They say, no. Well, you're all the way on the bottom, which means you're fighting at about 3:30. So I hope you impress the commission members who are ringside, because Beto, quite frankly, they're usually the only ones there.
Yeah, that's when they say, oh, doors open 3:30. First fight, 3:30. Yeah. Then you see the man from Louisiana, Devin Jones. That's Ryan Garcia. You know you're dapper when you have a suit sponsor. This kid is 18 years old, and you always see him in his social media or at press conferences, always looking the part. He is sponsored by a suit company. That's the way to do it. You see his cut man in the back, Mike Rodriguez working. That's his dad, Henry Garcia, who is also his trainer out of Victorville. And Ryan is taking his time, knowing that Steve and I have a lot of notes on him.
You know, one thing that's very evident about Garcia and seeing highlights of him, and I also saw him at that one club show back in Hollywood that you referenced back in about October. Very fast, a lot of speed. I do wonder about his chin. He seems to really stick it out there almost like a Pez dispenser. I think as you go along and you watch him, I think one of the teaching points that they're going to keep stressing, or at least I would hope they stress, is tucking in that chin. Again, a lot of kids are flashy and fast, but you have to be able to master the fundamentals.
Anybody can be flashy when you're using Boomerang on Instagram. It's a different story when you get into the ring. What's up to Lamont Roach Jr.? Big win last week in Indio. We'll talk more about Lamont, who's watching us right now.
Gentlemen, 6 rounds of boxing this in the lightweight division. Los tres jueces por ese combate, the 3 judges scoring this bout at ringside: Rudy Barragan, Maximiliano De Luca, and David Mendoza. On the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Raúl Caiz. Presentaron primero la esquina azul, con los pantaloncillos rojo con negro y un peso de 133 libras y 3 cuartos. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trunks trimmed in black, he weighed officially 133 3/4 pounds. con un récord de 2 victorias, un por nocaut y una derrota. His professional record in 3 bouts stands at 2 victories, 1 defeat, 1 win, coming by way of knockout from Alexandria, Louisiana. Here is Devon, the Hitman Jones. Y su oponente en la esquina roja, con los pantaloncillos blanco con azul y un peso de 133 libras y un cuarto. His opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wears tonight white trimmed in blue. He weighed in officially 133 1/4 pounds, con un récord perfecto de 7 victorias, 0 derrotas y 6 ganadas por nocaut. He stands perfect in 7 bouts with 7 victories, no defeats, 6 wins by way of knockout from Victorville, California, the fighting pride of the high desert. Here is the undefeated Ryan King Roy Garcia.
All right, gentlemen, you had your instructions downstairs. Keep your punches up. Punches here are fine. Watch your heads. Shake hands and good luck to both of you.
Raul Caiz Sr., the man in the ring. Look at Santa Monica Pier. Look at the tail of the tape for this one, Steve.
And one thing that sticks out once again, Ryan Garcia, the precocious young man from Victorville, just 18 years old. Devin Jones, a year shy of 30. It is Garcia, though, with a 2-inch height advantage.
Mentioned that Lamont Roach Jr. was watching out of the No Excuse Gym in Washington, D.C. He's actually at the National Silver Gloves with 2 of his young amateur fighters out of that gym in D.C. Thanks for watching. He won the WBC youth belt. Looking good, did Lamont Roach Jr. Also, Zachary Ochoa watching us from Brooklyn, New York. And I guess he's breaking news like you, Steve. See you soon, March 11th. I guess he's fighting in New York.
Yes, well, you know, Zachary's certainly one of our more dedicated viewers, and Lamont Roach with a solid victory. Scored a first-round knockout, I believe, with some body shots. Good, solid fighter, both of those young men.
That March 11th show in New York will be Curtis Stevens and David Lemieux. The night before that, Christian Chimpa Gonzalez will be at the Belasco. He is the main event fighter, an exciting kid out of Buena Park, a fighting family. He and his younger brother, Alda here, his father, trainer, brother of former world champion Cobrita Gonzalez. You'll see Chimpa in the ring March 10th, and Chimpa actually sparred with Ryan Garcia. And the good thing is, there's no video. You don't ever post your video on of you sparring, young people.
But you referred to, what exactly is this program about? I remember about 2 years ago as this program began, I remember Chimpa Gonzalez making his debut, actually getting knocked down, looking much more like a suspect than a prospect, but we've literally seen him blossom in front of our eyes. That's what this program really intends to do, develop young fighters.
Ryan Garcia, homeschooled in Victorville. His gym is in his garage. His dad, Henry, converted the garage into the gym. So they drive around Southern California for sparring. And Victor mentioned it, 2 hours, hour and a half away from downtown Los Angeles, depending on traffic. His opponent, Devin Jones, 2-1. Jones actually from Sacramento, went to Fairfield High School, where he was a standout CIF wrestler, went to state, married, moved to Louisiana, where his wife is from. His wife, Crystal Jones, watching right now. He has 3 kids, 2 boys and a girl. He played football, he played basketball, ran track, was always into the sports. He is 1-4 as an MMA fighter. He's also done kickboxing. He is 2-1 in his boxing career. He said because the money's better in boxing.
Oh, that was a good right hand. Good right hand. He catches Devin Jones in the southpaw stance. He's done a little bit of switch hitting. And you can see some of the explosive power and the twitchiness of Garcia early on. But again, that's the recklessness right there. I still think Garcia, as he scores a knockdown, needs to do a better job of making himself a little bit smaller at times and tucking in that chin.
7, come here. Turn around.
Jones went down in the first round.
Box.
Final seconds of the opening round. It is scheduled for 6 in our opening bout at the Belasco Theater, the LA Fight Club. First edition of the month of March or February. And Caiz going to count that as a knockdown?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, yeah. Right at the bell.
He is giving him the mandatory So that'll make that a 10-7 round for young Ryan Garcia.
César, 10 para esquina roja, 7 para esquina azul.
And for those of you scoring at home in Espanol, 7-7. Devin Jones, 0 amateur fights.
And keep this in mind as he's taking instruction in the corner. In his last fight, December 15th, he was stopped in 2 rounds. As we take a look at some of the action, and that was the right hand that I really buckled Devin Jones' knees. It really began some of the problems. And you see the exuberance and perhaps over-exuberance of Ryan Garcia rushing it. And he has to be a little bit more mindful of the fact, in this game, Beto, they are allowed to hit back. I think that's going to be the thing. Early on in his career, he's going to face guys he'll be able to overmatch and swarm, but I think he still has to mind his P's and Q's defensively.
And there you see Devin Jones. Devin Jones in out of his class right now. He trains boxing for his MMA side. You can see the striking that he's doing. Ryan Garcia started boxing at the age of 8, went to a lot of that big-time amateur tournaments, traveled all over the country for it. That's the reason he didn't go to high school, because he was going to tournaments. It's hard to find him an opponent. Jones picked up this fight this Monday.
Well, the best thing about MMA guys that do boxing is that they're really good at MMA usually. And you can see that the real big advantage in terms of Garcia, just in technique and command. He certainly looks like, and there's a good right hand. And you basically time Jones coming in with that lead right hand.
Walked right into that, but he did hit Garcia in the nose, did Devin Jones. You hear him, Raul Calles, one more knockdown and you're done. He's been down 3 times here early in the fight. Ryan Garcia in the white, and there it is.
Oh.
It is over. Raul Calles Jr., Sr. has stopped it. Ryan Garcia improves to 8-0 with 7 KOs. The lights went out for that Devin Jones.
Well, Devin Jones kept rushing in, and Ryan Garcia just timed him off that back foot and threw lead right hands. And you can see the explosiveness of Ryan Garcia, who now improves to 8-0. He's certainly a prospect to look out for. It's interesting. He's a tall guy. I think improving upon his boxing skills and being a little bit more patient. That's the thing to look at. Remember, he's just 18 years old. The guy he is now, we're probably going to see a different physical being, and also technically at the age of 21. And you see that was not exactly the cleanest right hand landed on Devin Jones, but I think Calles made a decision. This wasn't going to change anytime soon.
Jones swinging crazy, as was Ryan Garcia. If you want to know more about Ryan Garcia, go and check out that article by Mike Baca on UCN Live. Really long, lengthy article, give you a background on who Ryan Garcia is. Trained by his father, Henry Garcia. Henry actually from the Chicago area. Ryan told his uncle early on in his career, I want one of those belts. He saw the shiny belts. Well, how do I get it? He said, well, you got to fight.
And that was, I believe, the 3rd knockdown, which occurred right in the middle of round number 2. And shortly thereafter, here is, I believe, the finishing punch that really ended things. And it was not the cleanest right hand. But, you know, let's face it, if a guy's 2-1 and been knocked down or knocked out in his previous fight in 2 rounds, as they say, the die is cast, and that was going to be one-way traffic in favor of Ryan Garcia. I think Garcia's the type of kid we're going to see a lot.
He's green, isn't he?
You know what?
I mean, obviously, I'm not an expert. I don't know much, but last week we saw Virgil Ortiz, Cesar Diaz, and Louis Correa, 18 years old, the same contemporary as Ryan Garcia, and the way that they throw punches, a lot smoother compared to what we saw from Ryan Garcia.
What I see with Ryan Garcia is physical potential, but I see unrefined skill and technique. There's an old John Woodenism that I love. Be quick, but don't be in a hurry. At times I get the sense, for all the flash of Garcia, seems to be in a hurry. There's an old phrase, let the game come to you. I think that applies to this young man. There's a lot of physical potential, but I think like a wild colt, he has to be harnessed.
You kind of have to take your time with the way you bring him up also, right? Like a fighter like Ortiz, who could have gone to the Olympics. That's when you rush a little bit more compared to Garcia. Looking good, though. 8-0, 6-0. Mr. Victorville. As he said, everybody in Victorville knows him. His shirts are made by there. He's a celebrity in that town. Sells a lot of tickets. Bright future for Ryan Garcia. He's got his own website. He's got his own shirts. He's a brand, baby. He's a brand. You should think about this on your website. Just think about it at UCN Live. You got to become a brand, Steve Kim. Look at some replays of the knockdown. He knocked him down 4 times.
You know, and as you look in between all the punches of Garcia, you see stuff that's happening in between it. It might be a little bit subtle, but I mean, Jones is finding counter-punching opportunities. And with all respect to Jones, has enough courage to get in there. He's not exactly what I'd call a really skilled sharpshooter. I do see. Well, let's go up to Joe Martinez.
Segundos del segundo asalto de referee para la pelea para el ganador por knockout. The end comes officially. 55 seconds. Round number 2. Your winner by KO victory and still undefeated. Victorville's own Ryan King Roy Garcia.
Ryan Garcia knocked him down 4 times. Kai Sr. stopped it. Ryan ate a couple punches, though, a little red in the nose.
You know, you cover a lot of basketball. You know what he reminds me of? He was a basketball player. He's that young guy that could jump out the gym. He'll give you some highlight reel block shots and dunks. Doesn't actually have like a 15-footer. It doesn't do a lot of the little things that, you know, basketball players are expected to do.
Yep.
That's what it reminds me of. But again, he's just 18 years old, and he's going to have a lot of opportunities to develop. I believe Golden Boy's doing over 40 shows this year. Regular rotation at the Velasco Theater and Fantasy Springs. If you are Robert Diaz, you have to gauge one thing. Is he actually ready to handle a real professional?
Well, we saw this earlier in the opening bout. David Mijares 4-0, went up against Eventually Dixon, who's 7-15, and had to work for it. Got the victory, did Mijares, and here you see.
And again, right there is a case where he hurts Jones early, but he actually loses control at distance. And he's actually in harm's way. And control of distance is something that comes with seasoning. You got to keep working at it at the gym. And I'll keep harping on it. I don't want to sound repetitive, but his chin does seem up there like a lantern in the night.
Yep. Once again, Devin Jones, 0 amateur fights. Ryan Garcia has gone up against some of the best. He sparred Lomachenko, sparred Linares. According to him, he held his own. That's a big step. He is now 8-0. Nico Valdez, babyface Nico. If you want to talk about somebody building a brand, now that kid in Miami, watch out, Pitbull. That is Mr. 305. Belgium and Cuban. Nico Valdez. Actually, he's going to have a fight soon in March. That is Jonathan Navarro, Angel Rodriguez coming up next. Nico Valdez, we'll see you soon. Thanks for sending your tweet. Y also saludo a Paolo Andres, que nos está mirando en Barranquilla, Colombia ahorita. Yes, we are on the call tonight. Gracias a todos los que están mirando en Sudamérica y a todos los que están mirando en México también. Also, thanks to everybody watching in Pomona. And if you went to Bishop Amat High School or if you went to LMU alum like Marco Pelayo, we appreciate you supporting us out in the Pomona area. Beto Duran, Steve Kim, and yes, for those of you wondering, Steve Kim is wearing fancy shoes tonight. It rained in LA, so that means there's no chanclas for him, man.
It's cold out there.
Exactly. You got to wear shoes on a Friday night. Coming up next, Jonathan Thunder Navarro against Angel Rodriguez. And Steve, we mentioned that you see Ryan Garcia got done with the interview. The Golden Boy prospects that they have at the age of 18. Virgil Ortiz, Luis Correa, who's still in high school. Cesar Diaz, a kid from Palmdale. Ryan Garcia, you add him. Hector Tanajara, who was scheduled to fight tonight, but he's only 20. His opponent came in overweight. The young core stable for Golden Boy, the future is bright.
You know, a lot of these shows, I don't know if people realize this as I go inside baseball, they don't make money on these shows. These are really lost leaders, but it is an investment into the future. Golden Boy, the last 2.5 years, has really done a nice job of signing prospects. And this past weekend, it was actually National Letter of Intent Day.
Yeah.
And I believe Golden Boy has as deep a stable of young blue-chip prospects as any promotional company in the world. And they've done a nice job of just gradually building them up and getting them on to the next stage. Another guy is Genaro Gomez. If he could ever get some discipline in his life, I think he's certainly a young man with upside.
Gomez is scheduled to fight on the 17th at the Velasco Theater. That Golden Boy will be at the Velasco again February 17th. As Tito Manzanares will be making his U.S. debut, a fighter who grew up in Tucson, also now lives in Los Mochis, Sinaloa. Golden Boy really high on him. He will be making his U.S. debut as he's the main event. Linus in Philadelphia, as always, appreciate you